Now, Minnesota didn't just mess up, y'all. They built a system that rewards crime, protects fraud, and punishes taxpayers. And now, oh, Lord, that bill just came due. Let's start with what finally broke the dam.
So now the feds are stepping in again, this time to clean up a case involving a Somali man tied to multiple kidnappings and violent sexual assaults. The Minnesota prosecutors gave a sweetheart deal to. Newsmax crime correspondent Jason Matera has all the disturbing details. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mark and Charlotte. So cops in Minnesota were telling me, Jason, you've got to dig into this one. It's ugly. They weren't kidding. A guy allegedly kidnaps and rapes numerous women over a stretch of 8 years, gets a plea deal that keeps him out of prison, and then turns around and allegedly kidnaps and rapes another woman just a few months after that plea deal. It all starts in May 2024 when the Hennepin County DA's office, it's the county Minneapolis sits in, charges Abdimahat Mohammed with 6 offenses related to a serious sexual assault. Prosecutors say Mohammed met a woman on Snapchat, brought the victim to his apartment, and then raped her while threatening to kill her or her sister if she didn't comply. But when police pulled Mohammed's DNA during the course of the investigation, suddenly a whole lot of cold cases weren't so cold anymore. Authorities say his DNA matched a 2017 incident that involved a 15-year-old girl being kidnapped and raped at gunpoint. According to court documents, Mohammed offered the teen a ride, but instead of driving her to the designated location, he kidnapped her and then orchestrated a graphic assault involving other Somali men in the car. Officials say Mohammed's DNA also tied him to another rape and kidnapping case in 2018 involving a woman he also met on social media. So you have multiple kidnappings and rapes on the board. What did the Hennepin County DA's office do? They gave Mohammed a sweetheart deal. He was allowed to plead guilty to lesser sexual assault charges for 2 victims. And in return, prosecutors promised not to pursue charges for the assault of the 3rd victim. The kidnapping charge was also dismissed. In the end, Mohammed walked free without spending a single day in prison. And the result of that deal, Mark, Charlotte, it is exactly what you would expect. Authorities say that just 3 months after pleading guilty to those lesser charges, now back in the street, Mohammed kidnapped another woman in September, drove her about 70 miles to a hotel, held her captive for 6 days, and then he raped her. And even though Mohammed is now facing new state charges for this latest batch of offenses, the Justice Department isn't leaving his fate in the hands of the Hennepin County DA's office. We saw how that turned out. Federal prosecutors have stepped in and charged Mohammed with kidnapping, one involving a minor. And if he's convicted, he could be looking at life.
Clip farming alert. Now, you know, when you're searching for clips on X, a lot of times these accounts, they'll repost something that was posted months ago and it'll have the date as if it was posted today, yada, yada. I'm pretty sure we learned about that story. I can't remember exactly if we got it from this news anchor, but regardless, hopefully y'all heard that very carefully, because this is the moment everything collapses. A man accused of kidnapping and raping women gets probation. No prison, probation. Then he gets out and he does it again. This isn't mercy. This isn't reform, y'all. This is recklessness dressed up as compassion. And this, if this were a one-off, they'd still be lying. But it's not. I want you to watch what happens next real quick. Oh, my fault. If anybody don't know, I have a health condition that I need to make sure that I eat when my stomach go row, row, row. If you know, you know. But you notice how quiet that clip is. No shouting, no speeches, just the federal government walking in because the state refused to. When the FBI shows up like this, it's not a misunderstanding. It's an intervention. And if you think this is small money, let me give y'all some context. The FBI, almost tripped. The FBI has raided a Somali-owned home healthcare provider in Minnesota as the federal government continues uncovering even more Medicaid fraud. And he also wrote, Nick Sweater, that is, fraud runs absolutely rampant in the Somali community. Start sending them back. So I said, when they show up, it's an intervention. And if you think this is small money, hey, brace yourself.
Prosecutor says half of Medicaid's $18 billion claims paid to Minnesota programs could be fraudulent. Prosecutors charged 5 people in a Minnesota housing fraud scheme today. First Assistant U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson claims 2 defendants pocketed $750,000 to travel to international destinations instead of helping Medicaid recipients find stable housing. Prosecutor says half of Medicaid's $18 billion claims paid to Minnesota programs.
$9 billion. At first I heard it was 8. 9 billion. What a B. Billion. Dollars. 9. 6, 7. I don't know why I want to say that, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't know. But, you know, on a serious note, that's not a loophole. That's not an accident. That's a business model. Half of Minnesota's Medicaid system potentially compromised under Tim Walz. So what happens when Washington realizes the state can't be trusted anymore?
It just got serious in Minnesota. The USDA just dropped a bomb. 4 counties, 30 days, everybody has to reapply. These 4 counties are where we know there are the most illegal immigrants. And Secretary Rollins wrote this to Walz, recertify every household, use SAVE. SAVE is the software that's tied to whether or not you're legally allowed to be in this country or not. So they're going to verify status of immigration, cut who doesn't belong. They're going to do this, and people think how harsh, but what they're missing is this is the first rollout. If this works and we cut a bunch of people, guess what? It's going to happen. They're going to roll this out nationwide. I shouldn't say that because they haven't said that, but that's my assumption. My assumption is if this works as it's designed to, it's going throughout the nation. If you're undocumented, even if your paperwork's missing, you're out. It's not random. Hennepin, Ramsey, Washington, right. That's where the most immigrants live. They call it a fraud crackdown. We call it a test run. See if they can boot folks before nobody notices. If you're not in these counties, watch anyway. Next letter is coming. I'm telling you, if this works, it's going everywhere.
This is what a federal leash looks like, right? 30 days, every household, every document. The USDA, they do not do this because things are fine. Annie is not okay in this situation, Michael Jack. They do this because the system is broken beyond excuses. And, you know, while these politicians want to sit out here and argue, here's who actually has to clean it all up.
ICE agents. I don't know if many of you have TikTok, watch TikTok, and if you do and happen to scroll through this video here, thank you. Sincerely, from my family, from myself, and from many other patriots, we thank you for what you do. A lot of hate. There's a lot of people hating on you, saying that you're not doing the right thing, even though we know, people with common sense, know that you guys are enforcing immigration laws. See, every country has immigration laws. If we didn't have any immigration laws, there'd be chaos. Thank you for what you do. Family members of ICE or federal agents, thank you. Support them. give them encouragement. A lot of Americans here with common sense support them for what they do, for putting their lives on the line, going out every single day not knowing if they're going to come back. Law enforcement in general, they all have that. All those agencies that continue to be scrutinized by this fake Democratic liberal side, thank you. Keep on the fight. Don't give up. Americans support you. We support you. Thank you for your service.
Amen to that. Shout out to this man. I don't have his name. I was trying to see if they had it posted. But shout out to him, man, for speaking up for ICE and also essentially just sending good vibes and positive, spirited sort of energy towards them. They definitely need it. Got to stay prayed up. You know? But that's what law enforcement sounds like when it's filtered through activists or politicians. Quite direct, law-based. Every country enforces its laws unless it wants chaos. But, I think I said when it's filtered. I meant to say when it isn't filtered. I'm sorry. Hopefully y'all caught. Y'all smart enough. Y'all know. But I want you to listen to who suddenly finds their voice when enforcement actually happens.
The answer is that this is not about drugs. This is about regime change. And we also have the White House Chief of Staff on record saying that this is about regime change. It has nothing to do with drugs. I rise today in strong support of this resolution. I am proud to co-lead Ranking Member Meeks' effort and urge all of my colleagues to join us today in reasserting this body's constitutional authority on matters of war and peace. Because let's be perfectly clear, only Congress has the power to declare war. The Trump administration's military escalation in the Caribbean is not only reckless, it is blatantly illegal. We cannot allow this kind of dangerous overreach to go unchecked. Trump, a president who touts himself as a global peacemaker, has appointed himself as judge, jury, and executioner in the Western Hemisphere. This brutal military campaign, which has killed more than 90 people, further threatens a region that has already been destabilized by decades of U.S. intervention. And it risks driving us into further war in Venezuela. The American people across the political spectrum have been clear that they do not want to fight and fund another war. With this vote, every member of Congress has the chance to show the American people where they stand. Will they enable Trump's illegal lawmaking, or will they stand on the side of the Constitution?
30 more seconds.
Stand on the side of the Constitution and put an end to this unauthorized use of military force. I urge all of my colleagues to uphold the separation of powers and pass this resolution.
Think about the contrast. Foreign regimes get outrage. Minnesota victims get silence. War power speeches while her own state collapses under fraud, crime, and failure. People, man. And when things get uncomfortable at home, I want you to watch how fast the conversation shifts overseas.
Luego de 20 días continuos de anuncios, amenazas, guerra psicológica, luego de 20 días de asedio contra la nación venezolana, hoy estamos más fuertes que ayer. Hoy estamos más preparados para defender la paz, la soberanía y la integridad territorial que ayer.
Now, of course, this is an issue that Ilhan was talking on, but a very specific issue that we aren't addressing. But I'll say this. This is also a part of the distraction playbook. Talk global chaos. Avoid accountability. And that's what they do. Outside of, obviously, y'all reading the caption to that. But Minnesotans don't live in a carcass. Or live in carcass, rather. I said live in a carcass a while. You know, they live with the consequences of this administration. Walz, Ilhan, them guys. Now, Minnesota didn't fail overnight. It fell slowly through excuses, plea deals, and willful blindness. And now the feds are stepping in because, you know, when leadership refuses to act, accountability shows up anyway. They didn't explode out of nowhere. It was built this way, was it not? So, if you made it to the end of this video, let me see. What do I want you to write? I want you to put victims pay the price. Y'all be safe. Go check on a friend today. You can call it to be saving their life. Peace.